Hey, how's everybody doing? This is D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored, bringing you the best of all sports. Whether it's the Major League Baseball, whether it's the NFL. We got Major League Baseball. Everybody's kicked off. Everybody Major League Baseball, spring training has started. Games have started. You got, I think March 26th is officially the beginning of the season. We'll have opening day. NFL, man, we're getting into free agency and getting into the combines for the draft. In the NBA, it's a stretch run as we enter into March and in the NBA playoffs in April. So they're the little less than the last third of the season. It's kind of a season where all these kind of interconnect in some, form or fashion. So we bring you the best of that. Of course, we bring you the best of professional wrestling. Each day that we bring it out, we talk about on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Try to do Wednesday this week after the fact of the game. After AEW, we'll do our Dynamite review. And then, let me adjust this a little bit. You have to make some changes here, like this change right here. Sorry about that, folks. All right. Unplug this. I don't like to waste any electricity. Try not to waste. But anyways, and we do the review on Wednesday or Thursday, depending on how things are going in the situation. And we do some tidbit news. We're kind of going to, we'll be doing those things on certain dates. We'll be doing our breakdown of the draft. Talk a little bit about the combines. I talked a little bit go and watch my video that I put out yesterday about Brady. It was actually really about Brady. It was about Rivers and about Carr, where they fit in with all the talk and rumors going around that with those three quarterbacks. Definitely, we already know that Rivers is not staying in Los Angeles with the Chargers. So, kind of what we do here, Westcoastuncensored.com. Hit me up on there. Put new videos up there. Westcoastuncensored.com. Also looking for anybody who's got a business and wants to get their business out on a website. I would definitely share your website, and I would also share your business on my podcast. Would plug it in. So, kind of westcoastuncensored.com. Hit me up there, and we can definitely plug you in for $10 a month. And anybody that knows money, you're going to have a write-off. If you know what you're doing with business, it would be a write-off. $10 a month. Put you on my website. Also mention you on the videos. Become a collaboration. Become a partner. Become a friend. And we definitely will put you out there. So any more, let's go ahead and go forward. This is Monday Mayhem. I call it Monday Mayhem because it's our Monday Mayhem of professional wrestling. And we kind of get into what's happening. What's the rumors? What's the scuttlebutt? What's the possible rumors going around? What's the backstage stuff? What's possibly contracts ending, unhappiness, people possibly leaving, people possibly re-signing as things have changed over the last year. So still waiting on a TV deal that New Japan's trying to get with, I forgot what channel was that they were trying to get a TV deal with another channel. I'll remember in this podcast. But anyways, so, man, hit me up. Also, go on the look together. I put earlier today, I put together thing about a memorial to Kobe and a celebration of Kobe Bryant's life. This is West Coast Uncensored. We are just outside of Los Angeles. And so we kind of put that one out there to kind of give another perspective of one Kobe Bryant all-time great in the mindset of the city and bring a healing. And then did one a little earlier about the about what's been happening. I had put out a podcast about 3-4 weeks ago, roughly around there, and it was when Graham Harrell was going to have interviews with the Philadelphia Eagles specifically, and I kind of left it at that. And I specifically said that I think that with this opportunity, I would not surprise if he took the job. He didn't, and I never kind of came back. So I did a video about the USC's transformation of keeping Graham Harrell and the rest of the coaching staff filling in. I think it's a very good video and very good information on what's going forward with USC. And this one we'll start out today with Monday Mayhem. What's the rumors and what's the reality? What's happening in the world of professional wrestling? What is happening? So one of the things that's gone down, we found out within the last about 48 hours, that Vicky Guerrero was on the wife, and she used to be on WWE, but she was the wife of one Eddie Guerrero, all-time great. She was on AEW was having these former wrestlers or former people come on and do like a special announcing for AEW Dark, which is done on YouTube. And she has said ever since she did the AEW Dark on YouTube, the WWE does not return her calls and does not communicate with her anymore. And they don't have anything to do with her. They've cut her off. One thing, she was not an employee of them. She was not being employed by them. She does her own podcast, and they will not allow any WWE wrestlers to come on her podcast as a guest. Definitely because of what's happened with her going on AEW Dark and even just acknowledging AEW exists. I mean, what do you expect? I can go into the depth of this. This isn't surprising to me. This is what goes with that which happens. Some people justify it, I don't justify it, because I think if you're chump, you're chump. And if you're petty, you're always petty. And some people say, well, that's the business. You gotta do that. I even see some podcasters who I do respect, but not necessarily their opinions, but everybody's okay to do their opinions. We're not going to rail on everybody, and I won't go on a Vince McMahon rant, which I could do very easily, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because anyways, but it's not surprising. I know one person that did go down that rabbit hole earlier today. Superstar Billy Graham went down that rabbit hole, and that said, kind of voiced his opinion, and he didn't take it easy on what he thought was just, he went into cursing and calling Vince names and just telling the truth. Just said he was a piece of crap, and it was definitely a scumbucket to do that to her by just cutting her off because she goes on another wrestling show. That it's just the mindset, and that some thinks it's good. I think it's just horrid, and you shouldn't be surprised. I mean, really, anybody surprised and anybody justifying? I can take you back to 83, 84, 85, 86. I can tell some stories of what been done to other people by him. So am I surprised? No, not at all. That's why they call this a Wednesday night war. It's not a Wednesday night war. I don't think to the guys in the ring. They all know each other. They're friends. They worked in independence together. They may have even worked in some different, whether it's Ring of Honor or whether it was New Japan or wherever. A lot of them are friends, know each other. A bunch of them have relationships. So it's just putting on the best show, what you do. I think the war that symbolizes the WWF from the higher ups. But anyway, so that's kind of just what happens. Vicky Guerrero just said that they've cut her off. They don't return any emails. They don't return any calls. They have nothing to do with her. I guess on her podcast before that, maybe she had WWE talent, and now WWE will not answer back. Maybe she's asked for people to be on. She didn't go into specifics, but definitely they have cut her off, and she said she's been cut off ever since she was on AEW Dark when it was in Texas, because she is from Texas. So that's kind of what happens. And like I said, it don't surprise me. In fact, I'd be surprised if they didn't, because it's their stream that they swim in, especially the one you have to please there. A dictatorship is a dictatorship. That is a dictatorship. So anyways, kind of what goes with some other news that's kind of been going out there is the fact that Billy Graham, like I said, Billy Graham definitely jumped on it, and he didn't take it easy. He expressed his feelings, which he's did multiple times, of being a good, human and being a piece of trash. So he expressed that, and he told it like it was, like he felt like he needed to tell it, and good for Billy. Sticking up for Vicky. Vicky, lost her husband a number of years ago, and then I don't want to go deep in this rabbit hole, but, come on. But anyways, it just is what it is. And there was an announcement today, or last night, it was going on Instagram and on Facebook that there would be a revealing of an announcement by AEW. The Young Bucks said on their Being the Elite show, and the announcement was that they have a new book, and it goes from the backyard to the to the arenas, their history and their journey through professional wrestling, which will come out, I believe, in a few months. And you could buy the book, and I'm sure it will be on. You'll be able to read it online and stuff. But their book about from their backyards to the arenas and to where they are now and their goals, and their definitely through the years, to the rough times, through almost giving up and keeping the dream alive, to being EVPs of a new wrestling organization, AEW, which is being successful. And everything that they're doing with that is kind of a history. I think it would be a good read when you see people that have lived their dreams. And this is kind of what's happening these days. You see a lot of people, and you talk to a lot of people, and you see a thing, the mindset of the change. I see it from different people that definitely are the leaders in promoting what mind change you have to be into like an entrepreneur, chase your dream mindset. Just don't be an employee and work for somebody your whole life. And if it's not your passion, then really, are you ever happy? And it would kind of be like what you see a lot of people doing, whether it's taking the chance on themselves, betting on themselves, that this is what these guys did there when they first started doing this as teenagers. Their dream wasn't to go into a big time wrestling promotion and be this star. Their dream was really to build a ring in their backyard, and then from the backyard create from then. And the journey that they had. It even got into their business. The name of the book is called Killing the Business, because they became entrepreneurs of wrestling on the indie scenes, doing New Japan, Ring of Honor, which gives you a lot of time to do indies in between. And maybe you're only getting paid, I don't know, a few $100 at the indies, but you take your merch there and you walk away with $2,000 on your indie show, because they were entrepreneurs and they plugged in creating their own merch, not owned by an organization above them, but they were able to plug in those things. It became an entrepreneur mindset to chase their dreams when things can seem like it's far away, and it's not the way to go to bet on yourself. But if you bet on yourself and you can be successful, I see everybody taking it from like Gary Vee and some other piece, Grant Cardone, and some other guys who that positive mindset and the creation of using that positive mindset and be a hustler. That you can't chase your dream and be lazy, that you got to go out and do it. You got to develop that mindset. Even in your failures, you were able to go through your failures. I see that Ryback's doing it. I've seen definitely the Young Bucks that did it. I've seen, in wrestling, Cody Rhodes did it, but there's a lot of other people who are chasing their dreams. And that's kind of what the book is out. The Young Bucks chase their dreams from their youth, and we're able to create this book. So this book's going to tell a story. And when you have people and you have younger generations, this book can motivate them to change your dreams, because the mindset used to be go find a job and work for somebody else. But there's a mindset change, if you notice, talking to certain people about being entrepreneurs, to do you. But what are you going to have to do? Yeah, you're going to have to sacrifice maybe something that's the for sure thing that will pay your bills. But if you're working 20, 30 years of doing something that really doesn't bring you the gratification, you just got a job. Yes, it pays the bills, but maybe it's not your passion and it's not something you do. And what they're going to say is, don't have regrets. Even if you just go out and chase it, go out and do it, go out and develop it. Is it easy? No. If anybody says anything is easy, I have to take a step back and say it, because it seems like anything that I've learned through my life of anything being easy, that's a pipe dream, because to do what you need to do to get where you need to go is a lot of hard work and a lot of effort and putting time in when you don't want to put it in. That's just the way it is. And so their book is called the Killing the Business. So it'll be the Young Bucks. That was their announcement and it came out on Being the Elite. Also, a new announcement definitely that came out was the fact that that they will be doing Houston, Texas, in I believe April, the last week of April. Houston, Texas is the next, and they will go on sale Friday for Houston, Texas, which I believe is Sammy Guevara's hometown, right? Yeah, Sammy Guevara's hometown. So, so that looks like the next move and the next dynamite will that go on sale will be. I'm glad to tell you here, I'm on my way to Double or Nothing in Vegas on the weekend of the 23rd of May. I'm so excited about it. Double or Nothing. I was looking forward to StarCast, and it looks like StarCast is not going, but it looks like there's something cooking with panels, meet and greets, and some guests and stuff that AEW themselves is going to put together. There won't be a StarCast, but it looks like they're going to put something together through that weekend from maybe Friday on, because they're there all week, because the announcement was that the Dynamite following Double or Nothing will be in Vegas. So they're staying in Vegas through that, which is the 27th, that Dynamite will be. And I think those tickets went on sale Friday. And also that tells me one other thing is, LA people, which is me, I'm going to Double or Nothing. Expect, this is the end of May. That May 27th is the last May event of Dynamite. Expect June, Los Angeles, California to be announced probably in a few weeks. Maybe sooner, maybe next week, but definitely look for California. And I believe you will see a few cities in California. I do believe you will see definitely the South, and I think they go the North too, and maybe the Central, but definitely expect that to be coming up. I expect those Dynamites to be in June. Just keep that, just keep that in mind. Just kind of watch for it. California, here we come with Dynamite to the West Coast. One of the other things that's kind of been teased has been the Dark Order. There's been some videos, Free the Elite with Matt Hardy, because the big rumor is that is Matt Hardy the Exalted One. Matt Hardy was on his video and kind of had his video where he sounded like a demon and was talking to him, and that he would not die, that he would be reborn and he would come back, that he's the unkillable. And it makes people are talking that this is definitely going to be something that he could be. I lean that way, but not totally sold, because I know he could be throwing money and producer, and they will do anything to keep you. The ones, they will do anything to keep you, but he could leave. A little bit of hint at it makes me think that because there's some teases going on. If you paid attention to last week's Dynamite and you watched the tag team tournament where Scorpio Sky went flying after the Dark Order, you seen in the background, I don't know how many people caught it. I know some did. I didn't see a lot of people talk about it first. I noticed it the first time. Nobody revealed it to me, and I looked and I said, oh, that's Raven sitting in the background. I think I brought it up in the review of Dynamite. So Raven was there. I think that's a tease. It's too obvious. Another big tease. I'm beginning to more and more after being the Elite this morning and seeing the segment with Scorpio Sky, Scorpio Sky and Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels, where they pulled and showed him the mask they found in his luggage, and then Christopher Daniels was pleading with them, no way. Why would I be part of them? Why would you even think that? Because they called him out and said he was, and that they were sick of him. They cussed him out and told him to go to hell and leave. And he just was just like, it's just too obvious that it would be Frankie at this time. I don't think it's Frankie. I don't think it's Frankie, but it's the tease. So Frankie and Raven totally teased in the last week. Makes me a little bit believe that it could be, definitely could be, Matt Hardy, but a little leery on some of the things he's saying. But he would do that, whether he'd come back or not, or stay if they gave him the money. They will give him money just to stay, but I'm not sure if they are. It's almost like get lost. But then there was an Instagram little war with Chris Jericho got involved in, and he told Matt, stay at home. So it makes you think, is this from AEW, or is this just a little tease to appear like we don't want you and need you, but to build up a little heat for Matt when he arrives, maybe with Jericho a little bit. So Jericho said, stay at home, and he told him, mind your own business, don't worry about me. And that's kind of where that went with that situation. Last week on a great match between, we talked Cody and Wardlow. It was also official. It came out that Cody did break his toe on that backflip off the steel cage onto Wardlow. He showed actually on Instagram, I believe he showed his toe. It could have been Facebook, but I seen it on Instagram, his toe and how it broke off his toenail, and then he had the toenail and it was like black. So definitely, if that's all he did is break his toe, that definitely was, he put on a show and definitely took it to another level. Cody, to me, is just taking his whole persona and his whole wrestling career and who he is in professional wrestling to a whole different level. To me, he's the top babyface in the business, in the company that is actually turned into the number 2 company in North America. Just promoting baby faces and long-term booking just kind of seems to work for them, because that's wrestling. It's supposed to do it, especially after I hear all the things going on that all this false reports and matches came out of the WrestleMania card, showing the WrestleMania card coming out, and then there's like all these people talk and change, and then I kind of heard through the grapevine that the reality of it is that there could be some producers and there could be some writers fired because they think there's a mole that's telling all their stories, so that's telling on them out in the public, and so that's kind of the rumor. I question that. I could be questioning that maybe they didn't do it just to get some pop and get some of that. My question is that when you look and you're changing matches, which they just did, and they've did already multiple times, is because you don't long-term book. If you long-term book, you don't change the matches because you set up things long time ago, and you've been going this route to get to that payoff. And but it's because they quit long-term booking, which is not wrestling. It's kind of like I won't go into what I think it is, but anyways, but I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's nothing to do with the foundation of wrestling. But anyways, they're putting out there, which could be true, that they think one of the producers, from what I heard, some kind of insider stuff that I heard from actually Joe Cronin, that's the insider, is that it was a producer or writers they're worried is a mole and putting stuff out there on them, because the paper went out. I guess people seen every match and that's, and some of the matches, to me, I don't watch it, so I don't know, but just doesn't make sense for the show that was grand stage at one time. To me, it's just a fiasco when I see it now. But anyways, that's kind of what's happened to that. On Being the Elite today, going kind of past that, they had some really good scenes with Kenny Omega and Pac talking about the Iron Man match Wednesday night. That was really interesting with the Iron Man match. That should be incredible. You'll be able to see both of these guys with a 30-minute time limit do what they do best in long matches. Especially, there's just some all-time great in Japan long matches that he had. That you see the best of Kenny in those long matches. In the 30-minute, you'll get to see what Kenny can do. And Pac, who's just terrific and just great too, what he can do. I think these guys will both show out on Wednesday night. Where that leads to certain things, I don't know. We will see. Sometimes I wonder, could they flip us in all together and Pac be the member of the Dark Order? It just doesn't fit. We've heard Brody Lee could be making his debut in a few weeks. I don't think that fits. I do think that Christopher Daniels, I just don't think that fits at this time. I think you've teased it too much. It doesn't make sense because it's been teased too much. Could Hangman Page? Yes, but I don't think he fits because, but that could be, remember, he was one of the first ones to take a paper from the beginning when they put the paper and the little strips down, join the Dark Order. He was one of the first ones, I think, that looked at it, if I'm not mistaken, like 6-7 weeks ago. The storyline's running Being the Elite. So if you don't really pay attention to Being the Elite, there, when I hear like different shows and people talking about it and saying, well, this doesn't fit and this doesn't fit. And I'm like, if you watch Being the Elite, you would see this isn't storyline. And so some people say, well, it's the main show. They don't always watch Being the Elite. I think they should tease it a little bit more and promote it, that there's just Being the Elite, but they really don't. But maybe some vignettes or something. But so Pac, Hangman Page, could it be, we kind of have coulda and shoulda, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen with some of the things. Of course, but Page and Omega, back to them, had a terrific sit down where Page came in and he was a little sauced, he had some beer, but he did come and apologize for Omega for being who he is and not respecting him and being maybe a jerk. And then Omega gave him some down-to-earth things, saying that what you're doing with all this drinking and doing this is teenage stuff. Man, we're the World Tag Team Champions. And then he admitted that he felt like when you have Cody, who's the best promo guy, Young Buck's the best tag team, and Kenny Omega, he said, you're the best wrestler possibly in the world. Sometimes I'd be in, I just didn't know where I fit amongst you guys being so great. And where did that leave me? And then Kenny told him, snap out of it. You can't have that negative mindset. That he looked up at him. He looked him face to face and eye to eye, and he was proud and glad. And they were really good tag team, but not to let these things stop them from reigning, because he says, he told them, we're a really good tag team and we're going to face the best tag team in the world at Revolution. And then Hangman Page did admit that he was a jerk to him, and he said he was a bigger jerk, and Omega says, yes, you've been a bigger jerk to the Young Bucks. This really kind of how BTE ended today. And it was kind of interesting. Where are they going with this? It kind of keeps you on that. Which way is this going? Are they going to really break up, or are they going to come back together? Because sometimes I'm thinking where Hangman's at, do you really want to turn him villain? Because he's really got over as a baby face, sort of. But there is this tension between him and the Young Bucks. And he even, and I like how Kenny Omega just told him how he was acting. But he did tell him, I respect you. And I like the way, we are a dynamite tag team that doesn't even have a name yet. But we just started, and he goes, us just starting doing what we're doing, winning the World Tag Team Champions. We could have a great run, but we have to have that unity, togetherness, and put down all the pettiness. And he said, in being immature. And he said, all your drinking, he goes, I don't mind off this if it doesn't affect our tag team, you having a drink or so. But a lot of what you're doing with your alcohol and partying and drinking is a lot of teeny bopper, teenage stuff. Like, that's what Omega said. And then he agreed with them and said he knows that they're good. And he just said, what Hangman said was he felt insecure about how good the elite were, and he just didn't feel that he was on their level. So a little taste of giving you emotionalism in this too, which is booking, which is storytelling. I love the storytelling. So when we go to that, Cody's breaking his toe. We talked about that. Another one is, like I said, possibly one thing we have been told is there's been Tony Khan met Jeff Cobb. He had not met him before. All his dealings with contracts for Jeff Cobb was with Cody, and now Jeff Cobb has now met Tony Khan. And one of the stipulations he wanted to do was be able to wrestle in New Japan, and I guess the contract was definitely put in a place where Jeff Cobb can wrestle in New Japan, which doesn't make sense. You got your EVPs, you got Chris Jericho, you got John Moxley. I think it's in there for Kenny. Kenny goes to Mexico. Kenny's not going to New Japan, but Kenny is off and running and is going to DDT and is coming back in DDT in a couple months. So you can kind of see where this is going. So for them to give Jeff Cobb a contract to allow him, I just don't see why they wouldn't. And I think at this time you would. And it's been told that the contract's been reoffered. He did meet Tony Khan, had a sit down with Tony Khan, and the stipulation of going to wrestle in Japan looks like it could be a go. I could see him signing and doing more dates and signing and having the freedom, because they only do one show a week. So being able to go some other places and get some work in, and not everybody can be on the show every week because it's only 2 hours and to put everybody on there. But anyways, so that's kind of what we have. Lance Archer, it's really in the down low. He kind of teased some stuff last week and the week before that he could go anywhere. So we don't know for sure. Brody Lee is kind of on the down low. Last we heard was that he would be making his debut in March at his hometown in Rochester in New York in the Tri-States when AEW makes their debut. We'll still see about that. Who was the other big guy? Oh, Brian Cage. Brian Cage won't be in there. He's actually in Central California, but he is doing a Central California signing and doing a Central California, wherever he's going to be, a bookstore or somewhere he's going to be, or a comic book store business, and he's going to have a sit-down watch of Revolution this Saturday. That's been reported. So I don't know if he's healing from injury, because sometimes I wondered if the injury was as bad and you might see him show up earlier, or he's healing. But he is having a sit-down watch with them in Manteca, California, to watch Revolution, which is a good sign to me. That kind of shows that I do think he's coming, that it's been worked out. It's just when he gets back and is healthy to go. Any other big stars coming? Sometimes I wonder what's going to happen with Brian Pillman Jr. in their contract. Alex Hammerstone would be a good pickup. Davey Boy Smith Jr. would be a good pickup, because they are looking to increase the big men. Wardlow had a great showing in the cage match with Cody. Definitely. So it was it was really good. So those are kind of some of the things they've been, the guys who are signing that have not showed, it's really been kept low, and AEW's been able to kind of do that. Even though things have gotten out, they've been able to kind of keep things on the down low, and they want to do that because they want to surprise you when they unveil them. Like Jeff Cobb, there wasn't even talk about Jeff Cobb being there, so that was a good one. So there definitely isn't a mole within the hardcore of that. Somebody, though, is getting some things out, and we don't know if those things are even true, but there's some suspicion that Lance Archer would show. I could see maybe Lance Archer at Revolution, just kind of throwing that out there. Jeff Hardy couldn't be at Revolution because his contract is, if he is signing and going, is the next day. So I guess technically, if you wanted to wait till 11 o'clock Chicago time, which would be, where's his contract connected to? If it's Eastern Standard Time, then that at 12:01 you could show him as you're going off the air, but you could do Dynamite the next week if that is so that he's staying. So that's kind of some little tidbits, not a lot. We will have a Revolution breakdown. We will have our AEW. I think I'll do the Revolution breakdown Friday night, possibly Saturday and the day before the event. Winners, losers. Definitely will have the review of AEW Dynamite from Kansas City. We got an Iron Man match, and we got some other matches announced. So we will kind of hit back on that. You guys have a great day. West Coast Uncensored Professional Wrestling Edition. Monday Mayhem, Rumors, and Insight. Or is it just lies?